Okay, guys,
We're still trying to
welcome.
think.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
This is Discover Las Vegas. I'm your host, Priscilla Scott, Recreation Coordinator with the City of Las Vegas. Super excited to kick off our summer camp series. Summer 2024 is upon us. And I'm really excited because as we're gearing up, getting ready for all the summer staff that's joining, I've got some great summer camp, like high influencers in the building today. Okay. I'll let you each introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Joyce.
My name is Joyce Barrow Henderson. I'm a recreation supervisor here with the City of Las Vegas. One of my primary responsibilities is summer camp, out of school time, and it's the love of my life.
There it is.
I am Latonya Lomax, Recreation Coordinator at Doolittle Community Center, one of the largest campsites.
All right, my name is Guillermo Bonet Laboy. I go by Mo for short. I am the recreation coordinator over at East Las Vegas Community Center.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us. So the Discover Las Vegas community, which is growing, they all know me a little too well. So I'm going to go around and give you guys an opportunity to just tell us who you are and kind of what led you into summer camp. So do you want to go first, Mo?
Oh, on the spot. Yeah, I can go first. So what led me into summer
And
camp?
who are you? Tell us who you are first.
All right, so I'm Guillermo Bonet Laboy, Mo for short. Originally from the Dominican Republic, grew up here in Las Vegas. I got involved with the city of Las Vegas, more so on the rec side, playing sports. At Charleston Heights Community Center is kind of where I started off and where I met Priscilla. Started off in their flag football program and just became kind of one of those kids who was just attached to the community, attached to the community center. Stayed around after the games, helped out, volunteered, and then I was offered the opportunity to help with summer camp as a summer camp counselor in training, is what they would call that what we were called and what is still called to this day, right? So I became a counselor in training. No, I had never went to summer camp myself, just because it wasn't something at that time necessarily my parents could afford. So it was just something I was like, oh, cool, I kind of like a job, in essence, but I was just helping everywhere and everyone. I think Joyce was actually there my first summer at summer camp at Charleston
I don't
Heights.
remember that. I'm far too young.
Far too young. But so I got involved doing that, and I absolutely loved it. And that was at the age of 14, and I'm still here to this day. So summer camp has been a big influence on me throughout my life. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Okay. So Charleston Heights is both of our home grounds.
Yes.
We both started out through football in different ways, and then we actually became friends your first CIT summer, which was my first paid summer,
Yes.
which is crazy because even when we were doing like pre-interviews and stuff, my staff was like, I thought you guys were cousins. I'm like, no, we are not. We met through summer camp, which is awesome because a lot of people like build lifelong memories. But like Mo, my family could not afford summer camp and actually rec programming in particular. And so Charleston Heights, which we used to run satellite facilities inside of the CCSD buildings, Charleston Heights offered like low cost or free programming, and they had an amazing team that just had a passion for like pulling kids like us in. And so I'm super grateful for that because those were some of the greatest summer memories that we're going to get into in a second. But Tanya, you love summer camp.
Yes, summer camp is my thing.
It's insane.
Yes.
So tell us about who you are and how you came to love summer camp so much.
Okay, so I'm Latonya Lomax. I am a Las Vegas native who is a product of the program. I think I started going to summer camp at about 8 years old, and I was never a CIT. I don't even know if that was a thing when I was age appropriate for that, but I was a product of camp and just all the wonderful memories, having making new friends through the summer because I did not go to camp with the kids that I went to school with. So just having like another family, right? And then getting older and kind of knowing that I loved working with kids. I've worked camp since I was 16 years old, and I was a product of a satellite location, Mabel Hogard, and just the creativity that was housed there, having a cafeteria and using that space to entertain, I don't know, 60 to 80 kids. It just was nothing but good memories.
Do you remember like any of the camp counselors you had from back then?
Yes. Deidre Thomas was the site lead, and I believe she had a guy named Fred working there and a girl named Kia. And the fact that I remember the names of the camp counselors, and like I said, I was like maybe 8 years old, so almost 30 years ago. I mean, that alone speaks volumes. Just great times.
Why do you love summer camp so much?
The craziness. It's kids everywhere. I mean, organized chaos. Just their innocence and their love that comes through is just, I don't know. It's yeah.
There's a wonder.
Yes, yes,
To
yes.
see a kid experience something for the first time is probably one of the most contagious things, which I think it sounds like it caught all of you guys. It's why we keep coming back, it's that spark. And when a baby gets that for the first time, you know we got them. And there's a part of you that also knows that they're safe because we've given them that little bit of a spark. It's like nothing you'll ever want to give up again. So
And it's familiar. I saw it,
welcome.
I felt it, and now I'm
Sure,
seeing it
absolutely.
in participants. So I think that's what makes it that much more special for me.
Because you know what it's supposed to feel like.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So the goat. So Joyce like
Goat.
undercuts herself because I remember, I think you were at Charleston Heights when we were there, but not at Charleston Heights. I think you were opening a new building and you were temporarily housed there. If my memory serves me
I
correctly.
have a vivid memory of her at the registration table.
do you?
Yeah, I do. I think I was late one day and you said something.
But you coordinate all of our summer camp efforts.
Yes.
From like hiring, training, the marketing that goes into it, the standards that we all follow,
Especially
pricing
events.
structures, the big special events, the traditions that we develop, the
Yes.
crazy contests that we all do, even though Becker can't participate in the lip sync challenge.
Not
Camp
fair.
It's absolutely not
kindness.
Camp
fair.
Kindness is a huge,
Yes, yes.
huge
Yes.
award-winning program
Yes, thank
that
you, Joyce, for
focuses
that.
on just that emotional development that our kids desperately need. But before we go into all the things that you've developed, tell us who you are.
So my name is Joyce Barrow Henderson. I feel like we're all repeating our names over and over again.
Yeah.
And I have been with the city for a very, very long time, as these youngsters around the table have so graciously pointed out. Before community schools, during community schools, when we had what we called summer fun, the city at one point, you guys, had over 78 summer camp sites.
Wow.
So all the locations that we now know as Safe Key sites also offered summer camp. And Tona Taylor used to run those with Mary and, I mean, all of the folks that came before us. And I started there. And I worked one summer, and it was over. It was absolutely over for me. I was cooked. I grew up, and I'm like one of nine. I'm number 8 of 9 kids, and grew up in a wonderful environment where being unselfish and giving to others was really a big thing. And Parks and Rec was the perfect place for me because it was safe. I could pour out and service, but with boundaries. And that's what I knew I needed to do. I think that there are so many things in life that kind of we pick up along the way that sometimes hurt us. Um, and for me, the best way to heal that was to serve other people. So summer camp was perfect for me because it had that balance of crazy, nurturing. It was a necessity for many parents. Um, and like I said, you got to see that little spark in kids. So during my career, I have programmed camp off and on at every level. There's not even a position, the position I started in is not even in existence anymore. But what would probably be in comparison to our customer service rep, it used to be a leisure act position. I've programmed as a coordinator, as a rec leader, and now as a supervisor. Um, Camp to me is part of the saying that it takes a village. It is one of the most impactful components to the village. In camp, as coordinators, you guys are making sure that kids eat, that kids have snacks and shoes and the right bathing suit, and that their siblings are playing nice with them. And we're teaching kids how to be good human beings. Um, and this position is such a joy to see you guys take that job so seriously, because I think you guys see that you're changing lives. It's been probably the honor and privilege of my life to see you guys develop and love what we do the way that you do. Um, so going back to camp, it's just a necessity. And, when you guys are speaking, it's one of the things that kind of does break my heart, and the thing that I don't think that I've left the program where I would have liked to, because I think access is a big thing for our kids. I think that we're a government agency, and that I think that this is something that all kids should be a part of and have the opportunity to be a part of and experience. We just build stronger, more compassionate human beings when they're with us.
Yes.
So for me, if I could change and roll back time, I would probably start planting seeds that we could either stay at those 78 sites, making sure that we had good access for kids, or that I would have been rebuilding that portion. But, at this point, I think that we've done some really amazing strides. I mean, the offerings with Becker Tech coming on last year, that the things that this facility is offering in the summer camp space, there's nowhere in the valley that kids are going to get what is being provided here. And again, for me, everything is about opportunity. When a kid gets the opportunity to experience things that they would not otherwise have, we are changing the trajectory of their life. It is the difference between life and death. And again, summer camp is the space that we're able to do it in.
So it's funny that you mentioned that the difference between life or death, because you pour life when you're talking in at these in services and when you're welcoming new staff and all of that. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, it's not that serious. And then until you actually experience it,
Yes.
one of a profound memory for me related to summer camp was the first summer when I was a single mom. And at the time, I was working at the largest site that our department had. And trainings go till 10 or 11 at night. And I'm like, I can't do it. Daycare closes at 6:30 and I can't be here. And you're like, I will keep Connor. And I was like, here is someone 3 levels above me, offering to watch my child. I'm like, this is I felt so guilty in that moment, that I couldn't have my life together. And I remember you took him, and your office was at that site at the time, and he was playing with the door and locked you out. Your purse, your keys, phones, everything. And I'm running training in the next room for 25 people. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that my child just did this to her. And he was a fresh 2 years old. And I was like, oh my, and you were like in the hallway, like playing. You had called another supervisor that was coming with a key. And I'm like inside, like dying. And you were just like, we're having a time of our lives in the hallway, sitting on the floor. But that compassion, even though I wasn't a participant, I was a staff member, a facilitator, like leading a team, to still have like that level of it takes a village, it takes a community, like that, like you live your life that way.
Well, I mean, first, I'm going to spank you after this because for a couple of different reasons. One, putting me on the spot, but two, for feeling that because we, everything that we do is a family. We serve the community. We're a part of that family. If we don't live it, breathe it, and walk it, there's zero way that we can inspire this next generation. Like there's zero way. I would just be a hypocrite. And let me tell you about this new breed of kid. They can see right through you and they will call you out fast.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
in a
Their
heartbeat.
brains are they're so fast and they can smell it a mile away. If you are inauthentic, they want nothing to do with you. For me, again, I could probably tell you 10 million stories where my Parks and Rec family jumped in. What we are doing is life, and life is messy. But with that, you have a family and a village to support you. And that's nothing, that's easy. That's what love is. And I think that that's probably why I was also really comfortable with my family is I found my tribe. I don't really fit in with a bunch of people. Like I like who I like and I don't like who I don't like. And I love kids for their authenticity. I mean, good kids, bad kids. Like I just love kids. And that's you guys too. That's your tribe, right? Like sometimes I'm out with adults and they're like, oh, kids. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong with you? Now I'm looking at my watch. It's time to go. And I gravitate towards beings like you, towards spirits like you. And I think that that's how we know. That's the difference between a good recreator and one that ain't gonna make it.
Or not impact
Yeah.
any lives in that way.
And here's the thing: is that when you're inauthentic, it might float for a little bit, and that's called motivation. I want to inspire, and that's what you guys do, and that's how it's easy to keep going. You guys up the ante every single time. When you guys talk about camp, y'all up the ante on me. I came and threw out a little seed, and then y'all did this garden and started harvesting, and I was like, oh, snap, they're stronger, faster, and I don't know how I'm gonna keep, so I had to keep upping it because you guys kept blowing my mind with your creativity and the way that you thought about everything. Your logistic business mind creative, like I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch because and that again for me is like the honor of my life when I don't have to do anything, when I just have to throw out the challenge and y'all take it to a whole nother level. I'm like, dang.
So what has been like your favorite summer camp memory? Or
Well,
what stands out the most? Because sometimes favorite is like difficult to pinpoint.
so there are there's one when I was a coordinator that I tell at summer camp, so you guys probably already know it. And then there's one as a supervisor that I want to say. But the one summer camp as a coordinator at Mulaski, at the community school, I'm trying to one up Mark Romeo with all his wild shenanigans that
These are all
you
the
guys
joke sticks.
yeah, well that you guys were doing at Charleston Heights.
Yeah,
Like
somebody stole my car.
I mean, there's some stuff that
Or my
that
whole
happened
class.
that were just traditions. I mean, the cockroach race that
Cockroach
got
race.
shut down by the health district.
district.
22 years in the making.
I remember waking up late at night, waking up late at night, staying up late at night, and we would sprinkle crumbs around the building.
So you could catch them.
Yes.
So we'd wait,
And
and then
link
Romeo would be like,
lollipops.
"It's 11, let's go round the school," and we would go with the little tub and we'd pick up cockroaches and
We raced them in camp.
we look for the big. We would look for the ones that ran away from you.
I
the
should have brought a
fastest.
T-shirt. I totally forgot.
Wow.
Okay, so go
Yeah.
back. You're at
Yeah,
Mulaski.
sorry.
So I'm trying to one up Mark, and I put Black Visqueen on the field and cut perfect holes, just so that you guys know my intent was to do this, where the sprinklers come up. So we have this huge slip and slide. It wasn't slippery enough for me. I went to the store and got
Dawn.
Crisco.
Oh, Crisco, not dish soap.
Not dish soap, Crisco.
It's
we
greasy,
cooking kids
burning
today.
right out there on the field.
And that's exactly what we did. We cooked a bunch
Wow.
of kids. And
Greasy,
I
moisture.
was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So I think I was maybe
seasoning.
25 years old.
Say you one up.
Listen, and good. Thank God CCSD used to keep those schools so freezing cold, because for the next week we kept those kids inside.
Poor babies.
We just watched movies. But the kids were having such a good time. True story. Never got a phone call to City Hall. I mean, I had told on myself. I told up the chain of command, and everyone was like, well, we haven't had a phone call. So, I mean, it was just that they had a good time. So thank God for that. I
I used
know.
to do a lot of pranks in the summer.
Holy mo! Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Too many.
Someone
yeah.
took my car and parked it in the middle of Cadwalader with the windows down so the sprinklers came on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
We used to do Super Soaker Wars. We used to roll up on each other in community schools all the time. Just roll up at like about 5 o'clock when people were walking to their cars. Just come in full
Water guns.
full load of people, water balloons. But
But I think that speaks to what Joyce was saying earlier about like how close of a family we
Yes,
all are.
yes.
And we all know within our families we tend to get pretty competitive. But that's great. I think in this atmosphere, especially the summer camp atmosphere, is because we know we're competing against one another. But the main goal is to make sure that our kids who are coming to our camps are having the best time.
and we're building memories for them.
Absolutely.
And I do remember, because we used to have like the big dances, and I don't ever remember asking for help. Like, everyone just knew that we had a huge dance and that we needed help, and staff from the other sites would just show up. And it was never like, oh, I'm sure there were times where we were like, oh, snap, like there's not enough staff here, but there would always be full-time staff from other centers that would just show up and be like, hey, I'm here to help.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one of the things that I hear in moving to the level of supervision that I'm at now is that when I hear you guys say those things, it's you guys have the safety to create. And remember, I say this is where the magic happens. It happens because you don't have a fear of like, if this fails, y'all are going to pivot, and you have the team to pivot with, and that's to me the most important thing that I could ever do for you guys is to just make sure that that's there. The other thing for me that I think that we started to pivot in camp is that listening to all the stories from you guys is where I came and I started driving home the year of tradition, where y'all are like, okay, here she goes with tradition again. Tradition, because we got into this kick of like new and innovative, but without tradition, kids don't really, like they want to have something to look forward to. They want to have a chance to come back and try that again. That innately teaches grit for our kids. And you guys do that so well based on, and it's not even competitiveness, because at the end of the day, you guys, it's a camaraderie amongst you guys that sometimes it does get a little brutal, but it is
Cutthroat.
Can be just a little.
But at the end of the day, because you guys we have a family, it is ultimately that the kids win.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys' hearts lie all the time. So when we get ready to go to our 4th year of Camp Kindness or our 5th year of Camp Kindness, it is only because you guys have carried on the tradition. If you guys don't do it or believe in it, or it's just a piece of paper that I put out, I didn't do Camp Kindness. Y'all activated Camp Kindness. Y'all made it something that changed the lives of the kids in the program. Y'all did that. I didn't do that. The the year that the second year of Camp Kindness for me is the one that meant the most, and that was the year that you did the training, and the year that Connor was just so little. You guys were together. Um, it was because at every single site, I started to see everyone catch it again. That first year that I came back, I was just coming back from YDSI, and I was kind of just getting my footing. But that second year,
Everything was still pretty much separated.
and we were
Individualized,
all
yeah.
together. That was the
Absolutely.
first year where I was like, this is something. I knew it was something. And I knew it was something because you guys were working together, but you guys were dropping so many great ideas. Like, you guys had this energy and passion about it where I was like, oh, snap, this is about to be good. And I just knew it was never going to be the same again. I knew that when I did leave, or when it was my time to not do this anymore, that it was going to be in great hands. I knew it. There's just like a sense of calmness that comes over you when you see the people around you get this energy about them and this passion about them, that it's kind of like vibrates. When we start talking about camp now, y'all start vibrating. It all elevates in the room. You guys get ready, and it's exciting. You make it exciting.
Yeah, it has definitely been. I remember that in particular because that was your first rec leader summer.
Yes, for sure.
And you definitely went through some hazing by me that year.
Yeah.
Because you're just so like, oh, you're going to go lay down mats? Can I watch? Can you show me how to? And I'm like, you want to watch me lay down mats? Okay. And everything that I was doing, you were like, come on, let's go. I'll go. Like, you were just like so like willing to like jump in every single time. And you're like, well, I want to learn how to do it. I've never done it before. But a lot of people come into recreation, and the way like our training doesn't look like everybody else's, because what we do, you can't really teach it in a manual. And so
It's not spectator sport.
Yeah.
it is not a spectator sport. And you were just always so like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. And like, not in a, I don't know how to do it, I'm not going to do it, but I don't know how to do it, so you're going to teach me.
Very demanding.
And you're like, I love summer camp. And I'm like,
What is wrong with you?
what is wrong with you? I've been shopping for 6 hours. My car, nothing fits. We're doing like 4 truckloads into the
Two
building
carts
of
apiece.
stuff.
2 carts apiece. Yeah.
And like, you just have this energy, like everywhere you go, like every site that you have been to, like the energy in that building completely changes. Like every building that you've been in. Like, and I think you don't even realize, like, you know the impact that you have, but I don't think you realize like the energy shift when you are at a facility. Do you realize it?
I think the more I do it, I'm starting to realize it more, and I'm grateful for that. But Joyce talked about earlier authenticity, or say it for me.
Authenticity.
Yes.
I
So
didn't say it right either.
so
Authenticity.
I think it's not. Thank you. It's not as noticeable for me because it's real, it's genuine, and I don't have to try to do it. I guess it's just one of the things that I guess one of my strengths. Yeah.
So what's your favorite summer camp memory?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna talk about behind the scenes as a coordinator now. I think my very favorite is, like Joyce said, the first year she came, I still loved it. It was still camp, but it wasn't united, right? Everybody was kind of doing their own things until she kind of sat down and was like, "Oh, this not gonna work. Like, I see the spark in everybody. We got to bring it together." So I think just those late night behind the scenes, day before getting the sites ready, the team being there, just helping, team building. I think those are honestly my favorite camp memories as a coordinator, because it's like bringing a team together. Behind the scenes, even when it's good, bad, and ugly, right? You tired. It's time to go home. Got to be back in 4 hours because it's first day of camp, right? You got to be there early. I think those are really where my best memories are made as a coordinator. Of course, like I said earlier, seeing that spark in the kids that I felt when I was their age obviously reminds me of why I do it, right? But my favorite memories are now building the teams and hoping that I am impacting staff the way the staff that I grew up with impacted me. But as a participant, I would say my favorite camp memories were always feeling safe. I remember I attended, overnight camps. I went to the YMCA like a summer or two and begged, please, I want to go back to summer. It's fun. Please send me back to the cafeteria with the field. The programming was just so much more creative. And that family environment. Like to say it, I still remember the names of counselors and participants to this day that I got to fellowship with was.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal. When you talk about the behind the scenes and like the amount of energy and effort that it takes, right? From and from just like summer camp planning starts in November
Yeah.
and
Kind of. Sometimes September.
Yeah, definitely September. You're planning, you're
And-
wrapping up back to school fairs and starting summer camp.
and the closer we get, the longer the days get. And for a lot of people, it's not necessarily. So I was watching this video and it said when you work really hard and it's just work, it's stress. But when you are working in your passion,
Don't realize.
it's just motivation and inspiration. And so I think that's what really comes of it because the days are long and sometimes you don't even realize until you have like a supervisor or a coworker or someone who's like, maybe you should go home. Like you've been here for a few days now, right? But because the days are so long, whether all of us are parents, and I bring this up a lot with my Becker team when our days are long because we have a small team. But one of the things that really comes up is our kids because it's okay. Our kids are growing up here because with our days being so long, at some point, you either have to take a break and help with homework, or your child's got to come with you, or it's your day off and they're coming with us. They're in program, and if it was a late day, maybe you opened and now it's a late day, it's a late day for our kids too. Or if you've got a staff issue, your kids are sitting on a device somewhere in the building while we're handling all the other stuff. And all of the time I say, like, our kids don't get enough credit because it's not easy being a staff child all the time.
So I'm the only one that has adult kids that have benefited. And I used to carry this guilt that you're still carrying. But all of you guys know my adult kids. And my unbiased opinion is that they're pretty great. And a lot of that, and largely, that is the influence of all of you guys.
Yes. The
You
village.
you guys have all poured into them. They have seen what it truly means to serve our community, what it means to be loved and looked after and hoped for and prayed for in such a large span of people. Most kids don't have what our kids have. So for me, I shifted my thinking on that where I was like, they've given up. No, 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 no. But you know what? They got so many aunts and uncles, and they've had so many experiences at an early age on what it truly means to give back.
Yes.
Because the truth of the matter is that most people search half their lives and come back to the point of we're all born to help other people. We're all born to serve other people. And we're giving that to our kids really early. So there going to be some forces to be reckoned with.
I do agree with that. I remember when I moved from Vets to Marabelli, and it was during the pandemic, and so we had emergency childcare, and I moved Connor obviously to Marabelli. He was at a private daycare, but now he was old enough to participate in our programs. And Mo's like, this is probably going to be really good for him. And I'm like, really? You think? Like, I was so worried that he was going to be like this monster because his mom is the boss.
Yeah.
And Mo's like, no, I think being around real kids is going to be
Real kids.
really good for him. And it was like, I remember those days, and he was in the preschool program there. So he was like 3.5, 4. And when I would ask staff, did you check the back door that goes from the gym to the park to make sure it wasn't open? Well, I started to hear this little echo that would speak before me when he would see staff at the end of the night at closing come down the hall. Did you guys check the back door? And sometimes they would turn around and go shut the door before they made it.
Okay,
to
little
me.
Priscilla.
Yeah.
And so, like, he just learns so much. And, like, even now with Becker Tech, you know, he will come and take some of our classes and stuff here. He asked to do the DJ program. And I was like, oh, you're a little young, but okay, like, let's try a class. Like, now he's DJing on, like, 4 decks. And everybody's like, did you know he could do this? I'm like, not really. But, you know, the experiences that you're talking about.
I mean, again, our kids, why they do not live the typical life of, you know, a person that works a 9-to-5 job, for sure, they're not hurting.
No.
And we're building them in ways that they will truly be grateful for later on in life. And again, I can only say that because my 2 adult kids will talk about their experiences at the rec center, and also kind of the perspective of some of their peers. They're like, Mom, they're just so narrow-minded, or, you know, like, I don't see how they can't see outside themselves. And I appreciate that in them. And I appreciate that they didn't see it as work, and they're not seeing it as work. You know, they love your jobs. They and I worried sometimes too. You know, like, oh, they're gonna be a brat. You know, because you know my mom's the boss. No, I think that how we carry ourselves as of service, they knew that they better, because they did not want us to show up, or one of us to show up. You know,
Absolutely. Especially,
Mo would walk in if Connor was like getting out of line, and he'd be like,
problem here.
yep. Nope. Better put them tears away.
what's your favorite summer memory?
Well, I have quite a few. But to go back to what Joyce was just saying, like, we don't know how important like this family aspect is of camp, not only for our kids but for the kids that come into it. We're providing them an experience that they don't necessarily get at their schools. Even just like the field trips, like going on field trips for some of these kids who have never been to Crystal Palace or to
off
Wet
their
and Wild,
block.
or yes, or off their block. Like, those are providing those experiences that we're fortunate to provide for our kids to all of those kids in the community, and that's such a big change. And I think
How to
one of
behave in
the
public.
how to behave in public, like, I think one of the biggest things for me, and what made me choose my career and where I'm at now has been summer camp. And because I realized at 14, 15, like, this is what I was meant to do. At 14, 15 years
Love
old,
that.
I was a counselor in training, and they stuck me with the most difficult kid in camp.
And I bet that person was your best friend. But
Oh, he was my best friend. He was like my little tail, and just followed me around. And that just right there at a very young age made me realize, all right, I'm meant to serve. I'm meant to be around children. I'm meant to inspire, motivate, all of the above. And that's literally what has kept me in my career path from here on out. Everything I've done since then has involved some type of education, recreation, sports. That's just like how big of an impact summer camp can have on someone's lives. And I feel like in many ways I'm a walking testament of that. But as far as like one of my happiest moments in summer camp would be when Priscilla was my supervisor. I've always been more so sports, teens, and with the older kids really good. But she, as a rec leader, and she was my coordinator at the time, she had to sign me over at Tot Camp. And Tot Camp was kind of something out of my box. I went from taking care of middle school age kids, or not taking care of, but working with middle school age kids and younger kids to working with babies, and that just
Yeah, that's a huge
drastically
difference.
changed my outlook on a lot of things, and it actually made me more of a professional um, to this day, and I'm thankful for that. But having to um, be over such precious young children, and when they're growing at their like most important times of their lives and learning things and new words and colors and making new friends, and actually having the opportunity for my son to be a part of that, your son to be a part of that, watching them make new friends and create these memories was just everlasting. And then too, just the staff that I had. I always have to give credit to the staff that I had. When I took over Tot Camp, I was able to build a team from scratch with some amazing counselors that just did an amazing job all summer long and poured into these kids. It was probably going into it, was probably the most stressful time. I'm like, oh my God, I have all these little babies. What if something happens? Allergic reactions. They don't vocal. They're not as vocal as
All
the
the
other
state
kids. Like
licensing.
Yes.
all the licensing, when I'm going to get inspected, I was like sweating it. And then it was just actually the most smoothest summer I've ever had in any type of summer surrounding or aspect. It was just as smooth. The kids grew, and especially those babies at that age, 3 months in the summer, they can come in at 1 inch to 2 foot, and you're just like, wow, that was just such an amazing summer. And then it's that last week of summer when everyone's like crying. And I'm like, what y'all
Yeah.
crying for? And I'm like, don't get me emotional, cause yeah, I'm supposed to be the rock over here.
Everybody thought
It's
I was
almost over.
crazy when I made that transition because Mo has always been so solid in sports. And that's a huge component of any recreation professional. Being able, especially during the summer in particular, to keep the kids moving, to keep them active, to bring like that team thing. And
I think that summer camp though is so undersold in being a recreation professional. I think, you know, I mean, I started in summer fun, but I graduated from the University of Doolittle, and
Do
and I mean, those of you who've worked there, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Um,
absolutely.
and I could run a score clock and the shot clock and do the score sheet, and that was in the middle of men's basketball.
Yes.
You're talking about someone who's terrified.
Coaches yelling,
Oh.
I
referees
was like, stop
sweating.
yelling at
Oh
me.
my
You're
goodness.
making me nervous.
Wait, not just men basketball. Any
Well,
basketball. You do it.
I'm just saying it was
I
it
got
was
to give
it was
credit when
men's
it's due.
basketball in the early '90s. So that's
Oh
a
yeah.
different little thing.
All
You know,
professionals.
I already
oh
know.
man.
Court full of professionals.
So it was a little bit different, but I still say that the amount of experience you need to really pull off a good summer camp is like you're gonna need a dash of sports, but you're gonna also need to have a dash of dance, a dash
all
of
types of
gymnastics,
creativity.
a
Yes.
dash of arts and
Everything.
crafts. You're gonna have you can't be this one trick pony. And I give you guys credit, like so much credit, when I see how you guys are looking at it in the way that you were brought up in the city and getting everyone else prepared. Like that switching that up, I was like, oh, I see what she's doing.
And I remember having that conversation with Mo, and I'm like, this is what you're missing. When you have everything you need to make this work, but when you learn to put all of this together to make this work, you're ready for the next step in your career. And now here you are, first summer as coordinator, promoted, and all of the things that you learned that you already had. It was just learning how to put it all together, how to balance it, how to lead a team, how to develop staff. Um, like it was really great to watch. Like it was real because in the beginning, everyone doubted that decision, and
I don't
to
say
have
everyone doubted it.
a great portion of people were like, "What is she thinking? Taking the
Well, I
sports
think
guy
that
and putting him with the
every,
babies."
every time we do
Right.
that, every
Yes.
time we take the sports guy and say you're going to do dance, people are like, "What is she doing?"
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But I think again that is this generation, you guys. The way that we taught you was the way that Tanya would chase you around the building, or the way that we would just be like, hey, you just got to follow us
Yep.
because I don't have a manual. You just got to do it like I do it. Follow me, you know. And you guys were like, I don't like the way that that feels. I want to be trained up in a different way. And the switching and pushing people out of their comfort zones and allowing them to win. Not only did you get like switched, but you won. You killed it. Like you took it to a whole nother level. Not not for anyone else, but for you. You killed that. And
Yeah, absolutely.
those wins that you win on your own are the ones that carry you to the next level. So I think that again, when you start thinking about what's next, you guys thought you guys think a lot further down than um, I don't think any of us, and I hate to say like my generation, like I'm like I'm like 1,000 years older than you, but I think that that's something that's making you guys stronger, like more powerful, and getting people to see what is the end game on this. And that's why going back to every time you say, "Oh, here she goes with we changed lives. It's not that serious."
I believe it
It
now.
it
I was
is.
gonna say I was never
And
a doubter of that.
it is just, and I always felt like I was so passionate about it. And sometimes I know that everyone's like, "Oh, she's just this bleeding heart, Camp Kindness lady, like relaxed lady." But for me, it is always those things, and that you guys are just building it stronger and faster. It is so important because without us, without public recreation, I'm gonna guarantee you, your stats are showing it now, just in the crime rate around your building. Without us, where would these kids be? And that's the question that you guys should always fear. That's the thing that should keep you. You know what you can do now to flip the script. If you're ever trying to find where is the fire, flip that. Where would they be without us?
I think that absolutely speaks volumes. But I think having someone in leadership role that has that passion, so that when we do have those days where we're like crawling out of the mud with the kid that put us through the ringer, like seeing the passion that's coming through you, even though I have my own passion, right, still fuels me, right? Like as much as I love camp, like I don't think you understand how much you've poured into me as well to just ignite that even more. So
I think that it's safe to say we all sitting here are products of each one's success here. Obviously, Joyce has laid a lot of groundwork for successful summers and amazing summers for all the kids in the community or in the valley. We can go as far as saying that. And Priscilla followed your steps and became a coordinator. Latonya did the same thing, and now I'm coming behind. But I think one of the things that makes all of us here so great is we take what's worked from
we don't
everyone,
mind
and it's like what, let's put it together. And now yes, she laid the groundwork, and Priscilla was able to add this. Tanya came and added this. Now let me take all of that and add my portion to it and make it to what Joyce was even saying, even greater or better, or adding more to it. And we're able to do it now, such as at a fast pace, because a lot of the groundwork has been already laid, thanks to you and to even the people you followed before you.
Thank you.
So we're very, very fortunate for that because we got the groundwork
the foundation is
laid,
definitely laid. Yes,
foundation laid, and we come in with our passion and energy, and just wanting to make a difference and continue to make a difference. Now, this new era of kids is totally different, and I'm safe to say that. I feel safe to say that around all of us. But like, it's a lot harder than what it was.
I
Back
know
in
I'm
the
still
day.
trying to figure out how I can one up Joyce with her Crisco story. I want to.
Please don't.
I mean, because those moments, obviously, yes, they enjoy the field trips, right, and getting outside of their communities. Those that don't usually get to do so, but that memory alone, I cannot imagine what participants, right, are older now and still think, oh, remember that one lady? She did the Crisco on the Visqueen. They didn't know it was Visqueen. They probably thought it was trash bags, but that memory and
But they were slipping and they were going fast.
I'd have been like, you smell something cooking?
Those days, like, and I do agree with you. It has come back. Like there was a moment in time where we were very much everybody in their own facility, in their own community, like mind my business. I'm worried about my piece of the pie. And back in those days, everybody was just intertwined in some way.
Yeah.
And so it made it for that creativity and like the cockroach race. Like, let's talk about that for a second because when we came into that, if anyone who knows me, I am like deathly afraid
Yeah,
of
I don't-
critters. I will move. Like, I have made friends drive across town to kill a bug. I don't do bugs. But for several summers, we were running a cockroach race. We had a roach coach. Like,
I just
we
don't.
had the news out.
That just, I don't know. That's just.
And we had a strategy. Like, we would lick suckers and open up candy and leave them in the middle of the room.
It's crazy the fun that we
come
have.
back
This
at, like,
generation is not
midnight
doing that. Like,
to
you want me to do
scoop up the contestants.
the contestants is crazy.
We did that now. We'd be on Dirty
Yes,
Diner.
man. All types of shut down the whole
We were
center.
all the way shut down.
Yes.
And so when the
Behind
news
bars.
thought it was one of our parents at the time
Coach, coach.
worked for the news, and she thought it was great, so they did a cover story.
Oh,
They did
For
a
like
cover
2 years in
story,
a row
yes.
with the second year, one of the moms was like, "You're doing what today?" And so she called the health district. And when the health inspector came out, Mark Romeo thought that it was a joke that someone had paid him to pretend
like Mark.
to be the health inspector. So he's like, "Did
Definitely
Lonnie
sounds
send
Mark.
you? Who sent?" And he's like joking with the health inspector. And the health inspector was like, "Well, where do you race them?" He's like, "Right here in the cafeteria."
oh God.
No lie, we would race them in the cafeteria floor. We'd have.
I don't even
pick
think
off
we
the
should
line.
probably
Make
talk about this
lanes
right
for
now. I
them.
think we should probably go offline to finish this
But
story.
it was like, and literally the kids had a blast. We obviously that was our final year, and we had to move outdoors. But like,
Just think of
literally
I want to
somebody.
say it was something crazy like the sixth
No, it was the
annual.
23rd.
Or
I
something
have the
something
T-shirts,
crazy
you
like
guys.
that.
I would
we
love
have
to see a T-shirt. I think we should wear them as a joke or like take this.
Well, this year's
have
year's
cockroaches
theme
coming
is
out.
rocking through the ages, so you can resurrect some stuff.
We're not bringing that
memory.
hat back.
Not the event, but the T-shirt. I meant not.
Maybe we
the
can race, like,
appearance, not
puppies
the
or something.
event.
We'll do a kill the roach, a kill the roach dance off or something. Kill the roach.
Roast stopper.
So let's talk
Sponsored
about
by
so
Raid.
this summer's theme is rocking through the ages. We've got 7. Becker makes 8 sites.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us about summer camp for any parents who may not have registered their little?
Can we name the site?
Yeah. Why don't you guys name them? Let me see.
Okay.
You got it.
So we'll start with the the ones on the west side. So we'll do Veterans Memorial Community Center. Yep.
Cimarron Road.
Mirabelli Community Center. Over on this side, we have Becker Tech, Doolittle Community, Stupak Community, East Las Vegas Community, and Dula Community Center.
All right. Look at y'all. So what we run is a traditional day camp. It runs 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The kids are going to be able to swim once a week, and they're going to go on field trips once a week. We, at some of our sites, we're offering breakfast and lunch for the kids. I'm most excited this year because we got East Las Vegas back in action.
Rotation.
do.
Back up.
East Las Vegas is one of my favorite centers. It's just one of the most beautifully constructed buildings, and it's right like in the heart of East Las Vegas. It is to me the quintessential rec center.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to see the kids come into that building, and I cannot wait to see what Mo and his team have cooking over there at the Estonian. I'm so excited for that. This year, we're going to stay on theme with our decorating which started out as a bulletin board contest. Swear to God, you guys, it was a
Yeah. You
bulletin
didn't know
board
that?
contest.
Yes.
It was a bulletin board
The
contest.
one-upping started.
The one-upping started, and y'all
Got
started
worse
to,
and worse.
The friendly family
Oh my
competition.
goodness,
Yes.
it went to the whole nother level. So we're going to do that. We're going to also do our lip sync contest, which I'm super excited about because you guys never disappoint.
Yes.
So Camp Kindness is in full effect. We'll be learning about 12 attributes of what it means to be kind. We really wanted to, a little bit about Camp Kindness was, for me, as I could hear kids when, they're fussing or fighting with one another, and it would be, oh, they're bullying me. So everything was bullying. So no, Priscilla just doesn't want to play with you, and that has to be okay, And I felt like kids really needed to understand what that word means and how to put it to action. So we're breaking it down, and every attribute is going to be in a way that's going to be actionable for them, so they can practice it. I think that's what makes Camp Kindness a little bit more effective when we're starting to talk about social and emotional learning. Is again, with kids, we always give them a lot of words and letters and books and sentences, but what
does it look like?
what does it mean?
Yeah.
They need to actually practice it. So I am excited most of all to see growth in kids this summer. I'm excited most of all to see you guys excited. I love this time of year because I start to see like the ideas start swirling in your heads. You guys start kind of talking a little bit of trash to each other.
A little bit. I was about to say.
Me and Tanya go at it, just so you guys know.
But the fact that we're going to be able to offer our programming we have spots enough for over 1,200 to 1,500 kids if everyone signs up. I know some of our sites are full, but some of our sites aren't full yet. East Las Vegas is one that, again, I think is probably the most spectacular center.
Hidden gem for sure.
It is. And what they offer there and the staff there is just so dynamic and and creative. I know that it's going to be pretty cool.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. And I'm so excited to kick off the summer series with our podcast, first ever. And this summer series will actually wrap up the very first season of Discover Las Vegas. So
Very nice. Very nice.
first Parks and Rec podcast, and we have made it through almost a whole year.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yes.
Yes, congratulations to the team. They don't like to be on camera, but they're all here.
Great job.
Couldn't do it
team.
without
Great
you
job.
guys. And that's Discover Las Vegas.